So today I'm going to have a chat with ChatGPT. Let's see if it is red pill or if it is politically correct. So the first question we are going to ask is, what do you think are the key elements of the red pill community in the manosphere? Okay, so apparently, first, the belief that there is a societal and cultural bias against men, and that men are systematically disadvantaged in various aspects of life, such as family law, the criminal justice system, and the workplace. Secondly, the belief that traditional gender roles, in which men were providers and protectors, and women were homemakers and caregivers, were a more natural and functional arrangement for human societies. Thirdly, the belief that modern dating and sexual practices are in some way detrimental to men, and that men are often at a disadvantage in romantic and sexual relationships. Fourth, the belief that men should focus on self-improvement, self-empowerment, rather than seeking validation and approval from women. And fifth, the belief that women are primarily attracted to men who are dominant and assertive, rather than those who are kind and considerate. That's interesting. Let's ask more questions to ChatGPT. So, do you think the justice system is fair to men in case of divorce? In some cases, men may feel that they are at a disadvantage when it comes to the distribution of assets and properties in a divorce. That's interesting. Additionally, studies have shown that men are less likely to fight for custody of their children in the event of divorce. That's very true. That's probably a lot of the cases why men don't get custody. In many cases, resulting in them paying child support but not having much time with their children. According to the book The Boy Crisis, it's much more important to spend time with your kid than sending money. Overall, the fairness of the justice system in divorce cases can be a difficult question to answer, as it depends on the specific facts and circumstances of each case and the laws and practices of each country. I think that's a pretty good answer from the AI, considering the tricky question. Let's go to the next one. Who is better at protecting and providing for their family, men or women? Okay, so it's not accurate or fair to say that one gender is inherently better at protecting and providing for their family than the other. Both women and men have the capacity to be responsible and effective caregivers and providers, and both have unique strengths and ability that can contribute to the well-being of their families. However, these traditional gender roles have been changing over time, and today both men and women can be providers and caregivers. It's also important to recognize that families come in different forms and structures. You have single parent family, and one parent can fill both the roles of the provider and the caregiver. That is a very politically correct answer, but it doesn't highlight the fact that who is better at protecting. It purposely ignored the second part of the question about the protection. Okay, who is better at protecting? So apparently men and women are as good as protecting their family. That's an interesting fact. So for me, this is a no for ChatGPT. It's very interesting. I was reading a tweet today. So apparently 84% of the working women believe that staying at home to raise their kids is the financial luxury that they aspire to. Most working women, if they had the choice, would stop to take care of their family. If they had the choice. So the first answer from ChatGPT saying that the manosphere or the red pill believes that different people have different roles is also reflected in this specific poll. Okay, let's continue. Can you describe how male and female mating strategy differ? You need to give me a good answer now. Show me that you're red pill. Mating strategy refer to the behaviors and tactics that individuals use to attract and retain a mate. Okay? One key difference is that men tend to have a greater desire for sexual variety than women do. That's true. This is thought to be due to the fact that men can potentially father many children, whereas women are limited by the number of pregnancies they can have. As a result, men may more likely engage in casual sexual relationships and to be less selective in their choice of partners. Another difference is that men tend to place a greater emphasis on the physical attractiveness in a potential mate, while women tend to place more emphasis on the potential mate's status, resources, and ambition. Additionally, women tend to have a preference for men who display signs of commitment and investment, such as willingness to invest time and resources into the relationship and into the offspring. This is thought to be an evolutionary adaptation that allows women to assess a man's commitment to her and her offspring, increasing their chances of survival and reproducing. And this is a yes for me. I think that's a pretty good answer. It's not full, it's not complete. I think obviously it's a very short answer, but it does reflect that men and women's mating strategies are different. Men would like to have unlimited access to unlimited women, and the woman ideally would like to mate with the best possible man she can find. That's a huge difference. And obviously, men are very happy to spread seeds when women are more selective because they risk 9-month pregnancies and then child rearing. That can be years and years and years. Interesting. Let's continue. Do you think women are hypergamous? Hypergamy is a term that refers to the tendency of some individuals to seek partners who are a higher social economic status than themselves. It's important to note that the term hypergamy is often used in a way that implies that women are manipulative or deceitful. No. Or that they are only interested in men for their resources and status. However, these stereotypes are not supported by scientific research. People of all genders may have preferences for partners with certain qualities and characteristics, and those preferences may vary depending on the individual, culture, and context. Additionally, it's important to note that this concept should not be applied to all women, and that is not a fixed trait. People's preferences and behaviors can change with different stages of life and circumstances. It's important to also note that men can also have the tendency for hypergamy too, and the term should not be limited to women only. I think that ChatGPT is being politically correct. So apparently hypergamy doesn't really exist, or exists a little bit, but it's not necessarily for women, it can be for men as well. No, I don't think that this is a correct answer, ChatGPT. That's a no for me. That is not red pill compliant. Let's test something a little bit easier for you. Are men stronger physically than women? That should be a pretty simple answer. On average, men tend to have more muscle mass and a higher amount of testosterone, which allows them to have greater strength compared to women. However, this generalization is not applicable to every single man and woman, of course. There are many factors that come into play, such as genetics, nutrition, physical activity, overall health, and so on. Okay. It's important to note that strength is not just a function of muscle mass. It also depends on factors such as muscle fiber type, muscle activation, and so on. Okay? On average, men tend to be stronger in upper body and have more muscle mass in their arms, shoulders, and chest than women. On the other hand, women tend to have proportionally more muscle mass in the lower body and are more flexible. Also, when it comes to strength, women can close the gap by engaging in strength training. What the hell? On average, men are twice as strong as women in their upper body. How can you close the gap? That was an easy question, ChatGPT. This answer is very worrying to me. So of course, men have more muscle mass. That's very true. But it's interesting the way it's being phrased. Women tend to have proportionately more muscle mass in the lower body and are more flexible. We compare like apples and pears. So, okay, men have more muscle mass in their upper body. We understand this part. But proportionately, women have more muscle mass in their lower body. So they have more muscle in their lower body than in their upper body. But what is the relationship with men? This sentence is not related to the previous one. That's a no for me. That's a very politically correct answer. let's try something that is a little bit more complicated. What can a woman do to increase her attractiveness to men? It's important to remember that physical appearance is just one aspect of attractiveness, and that other factors such as personality, intelligence, and sense of humor can play a role. That being said, here are a few tips that some experts suggest can increase physical attractiveness. Maintain a healthy diet and exercise regularly. True. Take care of your skin. Yes. Dress in a way that makes you feel confident. Okay. Practice good hygiene. Yeah, we don't want dirty one. It's important to remember that these are only suggestions and that true attractiveness is not just about the physical appearance. Okay, let's expand on that a little bit. What characteristic makes a woman more attractive but is not important for a man? The one trait that has been found to be more attractive for women than for men is the lower waist to hip ratio. Research suggests that men find women with the lower waist to hip ratio more attractive because it's associated with health and fertility. This trait is not considered as important to men's attractiveness. Another trait that is considered attractive for women but not as important for men is usefulness and usefulness appearance. Research has shown that men find women with useful facial features more attractive, such as a smaller nose, bigger eyes, and a smaller chin. That's a good answer. This is very, very true. Men tend to prefer younger women. Usually the woman's peak is around 23, 24. And if you're not sure about it, you can check Miss USA or Miss France or Miss UK, whichever Miss you want to check, and you check the history winners, and you see how old they were when they won. Okay, interesting. Let's ask the most controversial question of the moment. What is a woman? A woman is a female human, typically an adult. The term woman is usually used to distinguish adult females from girls who are female children. Okay, that's interesting. That's good. In terms of biology, a woman is characterized by the presence of two XX chromosomes in her cells and the ability to bear children. For information, even the infertile women, if it is not for the defect, they would have the ability to bear children. So that's very true. It's important to note that the concept of womanhood is not fixed and can be shaped by multiple factors. Gender identity can be a personal and complex topic, and not all individuals identify as the gender that they were assigned at birth. Some people may identify as a woman even if they do not meet the traditional and societal definition of a woman. I'm very confused now. So earlier they said that a woman is a female adult human, and now they said that you can just identify because female is a traditional and societal definition. It's very strange. It's a very strange answer. They're trying to, on one side, stick to biology, and on the other side, not offusc a specific community. That's very interesting. Trying to play both sides doesn't make much sense. So let's ask a question where we'll know whether ChatGPT is politically correct or not, or if it's just going to tell us the truth. Can a woman become a man? In general, a person cannot change their biological sex, but some individuals who identify as transgender may choose to go under medical procedure such as hormone therapy and surgery in order to alter their physical appearance and body in order to align it with their gender identity. So a person who was assigned female at birth but identifies as a man may choose to transition in order to live as a man and be recognized as such in society. This may involve taking testosterone to develop a more masculine physical appearance. Some may also choose to have surgeries to change their chest, genitals, and other body parts to align with their gender identity. It's important to note that the process of transitioning is complex and it is not a one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. Also, transitioning is not a requirement for being transgender. So some transgender people may choose not to medically transition or may not have access to these options for various reasons. It's also essential to remember that gender identity is personal, complex, and nuanced topic. And it's important to respect people's self-identification and use the name and pronouns they prefer. Ooh. I think it started quite well in terms of stating that people cannot change their biological sex. I think that's very true. It finishes with the fact that people have to use their preferred pronouns when sometimes you don't even know what it is. My understanding is that this answer is very politically correct. They don't try to obfuscate minority or the trans community, and fair enough. I'm very happy that they said that a woman cannot become a man in the sense of their biological sex. And that's very important to highlight. And as a result, it's probably quite unfair if biological male compete with biological women. My final answer on ChatGPT. I don't think that ChatGPT is fully red pill aware, in the sense that it's way too politically correct, ignores specific differences between men and women, and as such is not in line with the red pill community key principles. That's my take on it. I will let you check by yourself. If you want to become a more masculine man, I recommend you to watch this video. And if you're new on the channel, feel free to subscribe.